Before the days you could stream TV on popular streaming services like Netflix and Disney+, the main way people would watch TV would be on live TV channels. Instead of being able to freely select the episode you want to watch at any time, and watch as many episodes as you wish in one viewing, you would have to catch one, or if you're lucky more episodes, at a specific time on a specific day. Of course you could record and watch later, but this depended on whether you had the supplies to do so. Live TV still exists, but have declined significantly in use. Turning 40 years old this year, the Thomas TV series has had a long and interesting history on British television, and I'm going to tell you it all in this video. In 1979, Britt Allcroft was making a short 5-minute film on the steam railways of Britain, where she got involved with the Reverend W. Awdry. Britt saw Awdry's Railway series books and fell in love with the illustrations. After discussions with Awdry, Britt soon produced a pilot for a TV adaptation of the series, which was soon greenlit by independent television, ITV, which is where Thomas's UK TV journey begins.
And now, viewers, it is my great pleasure to introduce you to a great new children's ITV series. For the first time on television, the stories of Thomas the Tank Engine and friends. Take it away, boys.
The first series of the show premiered on the newly launched children's block on ITV called simply Children's ITV on October 9th, 1984. The show was a runaway success with children across the UK, and a second series was soon greenlit and premiered on September 24th, 1986. After Series 2, there was a long gap between that and Series 3. That was because Britt was working on Shining Time Station to bring Thomas to US audiences, and director David Mitton was working on his own sister show to Thomas, Tugs, which revolved around a group of sentient tugboats. This show also aired on CITV and premiered on April 4th, 1989. A whole 6 years after Series 2 premiered in 1986, the third series of Thomas premiered on CITV on the 25th of February 1992, commissioned by Thames Television. Series 3 became a fan favourite series with fans of the show, but the same can't be said for the creator of the Railway series, the Reverend W. Awdry. He strongly disliked the episode Henry's Forest, saying it broke Rule 55 of railway practices, and that it was unsafe having trees so close to the track, making it a fire hazard. Because of this, Thomas was pulled from CITV, and terrestrial TV as a whole, until further notice in 1993. 10 years later, in 2003, Thomas returned to terrestrial TV, where CITV premiered Series 6 on January 6th, and the block will continue to air new series of Thomas every year until July 28, 2006, when Thomas left CITV for good, with a final airing of Thomas Gets It Right. Going back to the year the show first premiered, 1984, Children's Channel launched, owned by FlexTech. Thomas joined the channel 3 years later in 1987, shortly after Series 2 premiered on CITV. There's not much to say about this channel as it's very obscure, and there's currently no footage of Thomas on the channel online currently. It's not known when Thomas left the channel, but I'm assuming Thomas didn't last very long on there. As well as airing on TV in English, Thomas is also aired on both of BBC's Celtic language channels. Firstly, Thomas started airing on S4C in Welsh from 1988 with Series 1, and continued to air on there up until Series 14 in 2011, where the channel only repeated episodes until 2022. The following year, in 2023, Thomas returned to S4C, airing the All Engines Go reboot from April 24th. As well as S4C, Thomas also aired on BBC's Scottish Gaelic channel BBC Alba from September 24th, 2008, airing Series 8 and 9. The series then repeated every now and then until Thomas left the channel on February 14th, 2015.
And now, back to Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends on Cartoon Network.
After being pulled from terrestrial television in 1993, Thomas became a VHS exclusive show, with the 4th and 5th series being exclusively released on VHS, at least for a while, until 1995 when Thomas came to Cartoon Network. Live action Thomas on Cartoon Network was a very odd choice, because Thomas was a live action show back then and not a cartoon show like it is now. Series 1 to 4 aired on Cartoon Network, with Series 5 maybe joining the mix later on, but it is not known. An interesting thing to note is most Series 2 episodes Cartoon Network aired had echoed audio, and the episodes had unique opening titles, which was only shown on a select few VHS releases of the show. Thomas left Cartoon Network a few years later in 1998.
Take all the family for a magical ride with Thomas the Tank Engine.
I'm on my way!
In his first big screen adventure, Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
On July 14th, 2000, Thomas's very first movie, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, premiered in UK cinemas and of course got airings on UK TV. The first airing was on the pay-per-view channel Front Row, which premiered the film on July 27th, 2001. Sky Movies then premiered the film on February 10th, 2002, and then BBC One aired it a couple times on New Year's Day 2004 and December 29th, 2008.
Thomas the Tank Engine is coming up next on Nick Jr.
In 1999, a sister channel of Nickelodeon launched called Nick Jr. on September 1st, 1999, and Thomas came to the channel with the launch, as well as airing on the Nick Jr. block on Nickelodeon. Series 1 to 5 was shown with the launch, with Series 6 coming to the channel on September 16th, 2002. New series of Thomas would premiere each year every autumn. In 2004, a series of 3 shorts called Playtime with Fans aired on Nick Jr., which revolved around live-action children role-playing as Thomas characters, with Michael Angelis providing narration. These would have aired during advert breaks on Nick Jr. from 2004 to 2010. These may have aired on Nick Jr. too, and did air on the Noggin on TMF blog. On August 1st, Series 8 premiered on Nick Jr. Thomas on Nick Jr. from now on was formatted much different than before. Series 1 to 7 episodes were shown in 4-episode blocks, with the hit era transitions in between the 5-minute episodes. Series 8 was much more complex than Series 1 to 7 when it came to its Nick Jr. broadcast. Each broadcast was a 28-minute block containing 2 new episodes, 1 Series 6 or 7 episode in the middle, and learning segments and songs throughout. Thomas aired like this on Nick Jr. for the most part until its end on the channel. The next year, 2005, was a big year for Thomas, being the 60th anniversary of the franchise. Nick Jr. celebrated the 60th anniversary of Thomas by airing a marathon called Thomas and Friends Party on June 26th. The day started off with party-themed episodes of other Nick Jr. shows until the marathon started at 12 PM, lasting all the way until 6 PM. The marathon aired multiple 4-episode blocks, starting with James and the Trouble with Trees and ending with Gordon and Spencer. Despite mostly airing in 20-minute blocks, there were a few times individual Series 1 to 7 episodes aired on Nick Jr. still. On May 31st, 2004, a block launched on Nick Jr. called Noggin. This aired classic children's programming from 8 to 10 PM at night. 1 or 2 classic Thomas episodes from Series 1 to 7 aired each night on the block. The block was renamed to Nick Jr. Classics the next year, on September 5th, 2005, when Nick Jr. rebranded into the paper era. On January 30th, 2006, another block called Noggin launched on the Music Factory TMF. Series 1 to 5 of Thomas aired on the block until July 16th that year. On April 24th, 2006, Nick Jr. launched a secondary channel called Nick Jr. 2. Thomas of course aired on here, and it premiered Series 10 to 12 of the show. In 2008, there was a gap of Thomas series premiering on Nick Jr., so the Calling All Engines special premiered on Nick Jr. on February 19th, 2008, during a week on the channel called Specials Week, which had various specials of Nick Jr. shows like Angelina Ballerina, Backyardigans, and of course Thomas, with Calling All Engines. The Nick Jr. broadcast of the special cut out the songs and learning segments shown in the special, likely to make it more suitable for a 60-minute broadcast. When Nick Jr. UK rebranded on April 30th, 2010, The 28-minute blocks were shortened to 22 minutes to allow advertising space. This meant that the Making Tracks to Great Destinations, Dear Christopher sequence, and the Island of Sodor intro was removed, as well as the learning segments. The morning and night sequences were also removed from the hit era blocks. The full 28-minute versions of the model series blocks could still be seen on some weekends. Series 13 onwards didn't have the full block shown at all. Around the time Series 15 premiered on Nick Jr. in 2012, viewers of Nick Jr. experienced glitches going on with airings of Thomas. The audios of the songs that would play in the middle of the airings would play in the wrong part of the broadcast, and at some parts the audio was out of sync. Nick Jr. said to a user online called Roll Along Thomas, "We're sorry about the technical problems which have occurred during a few episodes of Thomas the Tank Engine recently. We have rechecked a large number of episodes and so far have only found problems on a couple of episodes, which should by now have already been fixed. We hope that there won't be any more problems. A note of the date and time that you are watching is particularly useful as well. We obviously want people to enjoy our programs as they were meant to be seen, so it upsets us too when something goes wrong. This error must have been fixed for most episodes, but not all of them, as I remember tuning into the block Old and New myself in either 2013 or 14, and that block was affected by it." From October 27th that year, feature-length specials from the CGI series premiered on Nick Jr. one by one, with Hero of the Rails having its first airing on UK TV. There was also unique up next bumpers created especially for when the specials were aired. Kinda odd how they didn't show footage from the specials in the bumpers. Future feature-length specials of the show would premiere each year along with the series of the show they were attached to. The next year, in 2013, Nick Jr. started to phase out airing older model series episodes. They started with Series 1 to 7 that year, with Series 8 to 12 ceasing broadcast around spring 2015. On November 3rd, 2014, Nick Jr. 2 rebranded into Nick Jr. 2, and Thomas became exclusive to that channel, with all Nick Jr. premieres from Series 18 onwards being on that channel from now on. After this rebrand, there was only a select few times Thomas aired on the main Nick Jr. channel now. Firstly, was the Christmas episodes from Series 17 premiering on Nick Jr. from Christmas Day, and King of the Railway and Blue Mountain Mystery getting reruns in 2015 on February 11th, 18th and 19th respectively. Around spring 2017, the episodes from the Dinos and Discoveries DVD in Series 19 aired on Nick Jr. The way Nick Jr. 2 aired them is very different than from before. Instead of the 22-minute blocks, the regular individual episode masters aired instead, much like Milkshake, but in the same order as the 28-minute blocks that continue to air on PBS Kids in the US. That Christmas, Diesel's Ghostly Christmas premiered on Boxing Day, and then Thomas left Nick Jr. 2, and Nick Jr. as a whole, at the end of the year after 18 years on the channel. Thomas wasn't done on the channel just yet though. 6 years later, on May 16th, 2022, Thomas made his grand return to Nick Jr. after 5 years and aired the All Engines Go reboot of the show, and aired episodes and shorts of the show in batches every 5 months, with the feature-length specials premiering every year. When Thomas left CITV in 2006, Thomas needed a new terrestrial TV channel to air on, and that was Channel 5's Milkshake block. Thomas aired on the block on October 10th, starting with the terrestrial debut of Series 9, and that was followed by Series 8, and also the terrestrial debut of Series 10 that same year, with Series 11 coming to the block the next year in 2007, along with the Calling All Engines special that year on Christmas Eve. The following year, in 2008, Milkshake became the main channel for airing Thomas, premiering each series of the show a year before Nick Jr. did, and still does to this very day with the All Engines Go reboot. On Christmas Eve 2010, the feature-length special Misty Island Rescue premiered on Milkshake. All future Thomas specials premiered yearly after this. The format Milkshake aired episodes of the series was individually in 10 to 15 minute slots. This changed for one episode, however. On Boxing Day 2016, Milkshake premiered the 20-minute double-length episode Diesel's Ghostly Christmas from Series 19. The episode was formatted in a way similar to the 20-minute blocks that aired over on Nick Jr. too. The episode has the regular intro, then aired the There's Snow Place Like Home song, the main episode, and the extended Series 19 engine roll call, which was interestingly the only release of that version in the UK. Another time Milkshake aired Thomas episodes differently was the Series 21 episode, A Shed for Edward. Alongside production of Series 21 of the show was the development of the rebrand of the show Big World, Big Adventures, where the format of the show changed to have Thomas narrate episodes from his point of view, with some episodes not having narration at all. A test of this must have been carried out with the episode A Shed for Edward, where narration was removed from the episode to see how a Thomas episode would play out without the narration. Mattel must have sent Milkshake the wrong master of the episode when the episode premiered on October 4th, 2017.
A Shed for Edward.
No, it's Edward!
A Shed for Edward. Edward has been on the island of Sodor a long time, and he is a very popular engine. Especially with Philip.
No, it's Edward!
After this point and into current day, Milkshake still airs the show the same, airing a new series and also shorts and a new special every year with the All Engines Go reboot, which is insane to think about as Thomas has aired on Milkshake almost as long as I've been alive.
Now, let's all head to Sodor in Thomas and Friends on Cartoonito.
On March 6th, 2017, Thomas came to Cartoonito, first airing the 6 Series 19 episodes from the Full Steam to the Rescue DVD, which never aired on Milkshake by the way, and then began the satellite TV debut of Series 20, airing up until Ryan and Daisy, and then soon airing the Great Race special. A few months later, on May 30th, Cartoonito aired the rest of Series 20, which Milkshake didn't air until later in the summer. Then, that December, 3 out of the 5 Series 20 Christmas episodes premiered on Cartoonito. The next year, nothing new came to the channel until September 9th, when the Journey Beyond Sodor special premiered on the channel. Then, the next month in October, a bunch more Thomas specials came to the channel. These included all of the Nitrogen specials and also King of the Railway. After not airing any new Thomas episodes since December 2017, Series 17 came to the channel on August 18th, 2019. Series 18 then followed in February 2020. Then, that Easter, Series 21 came to the channel, airing episodes throughout the month. A year later, in 2021, the Big World, Big Adventures movie premiered on Cartoonito on April 10th, followed by Series 22, the first batch of Series 23, and the Steam Team to the Rescue special in July. And then from March 1st, 2022, the rest of the Series 23 episodes and specials came to Cartoonito. Since then, Thomas had been reduced to reruns at 12 and 3 AM in the middle of the night, aside from occasional reruns of the specials, until Thomas left the channel after a final 2 airings of the show on December 1st, 2023. Thomas's journey on UK TV doesn't end just yet though, as on January 22nd, 2024, Thomas came to Sky Kids, airing the Learning with Thomas shorts, bringing us to present day. Thomas has indeed had a very long journey on UK TV, from hopping from channel to channel until the mid-2000s, to sticking to Milkshake and Nick Jr. pretty much for 18 years. This video has honestly been a blast to make, and has been my biggest project ever, being my longest video yet, and had been a project in the making since this September. Now this project is over, it means it's time to begin work on another. My next big video will be a video going over every instance in the CGI series where a classic Thomas theme was remixed. When this will come is to be announced, as I've learned from making this video, giving a specific date for a project on this scale isn't always reliable. This is all I've got to say for this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!